He has gloves.
He has gloves in his hands.
He has gloves.
Gloves and what else?
The blanket.
Oh my god, that is my blanket!
She was supposed to catch a flight that night. She never showed up. Her phone stopped ringing. Her messages went silent. And just like that, she was gone. Her friends knew something was off. Her family knew something was wrong. And when police finally stepped into her apartment, they saw it too. Furniture pushed against the door, blood on a pillow, jewelry scattered across the floor. Signs of a struggle everywhere. But somehow, they walked away. No crime scene tape, no urgency. Just another case until it wasn't. 8 days later, Miya was found, in the woods, tied up, gagged, hidden like she didn't matter. And the man who likely did it, already dead. This story isn't just about a murder. It's about all the signs that were missed, all the cries for help that were ignored, and a family left screaming into the void, asking, why didn't anyone do something? Welcome to Mystery Unveiled, True Crime. Thank you, my viewers. A special thank you to our loyal subscribers for joining us as we uncover the darkest, most gripping true crime stories every single day. Your support fuels our mission to bring you both infamous cases and chilling untold mysteries. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Before the headlines, before the search parties, before the courtroom drama and the outcry, there was just Miya. Miya Marcano wasn't famous. She didn't live some glamorous, double life. She was 19, a college student, a daughter, a friend, and she was loved by many. She was born on the 26th of April, 2002, to a blended family that surrounded her with support, warmth, and structure. Her father, Miya Marcano, was a DJ known in the Caribbean community as DJ Eternal Vibes. Her mother, Miya Marcano, was fiercely protective, always encouraging Miya to stay grounded and focused. Her parents weren't together, but Miya had close bonds with both of them. She grew up between South Florida and the U.S. Virgin Islands. She was bright, bubbly, always smiling in photos. Her Instagram feed was a mix of natural beauty shots, chill selfies, and college life. Miya had that kind of charisma that made people feel like they'd known her for year 7 if they'd only met her once. Friends described her as funny and fiercely loyal. A bit quiet at first, but once she let you in, you were in her world. She was that person who'd remember your favorite snack and bring it when you were down. The one who could light up a room without saying much. In 2021, Miya was studying at Valencia College in Orlando, Florida. She had plans, big ones. She wanted to travel, maybe go into aesthetics, possibly even real estate. She was still figuring it all out, but she was doing what millions of college students do every day. Living, learning, dreaming. And like many students in Orlando, Miya lived in an off-campus apartment, Arden Villas, a luxury complex marketed as safe, stylish student living. But appearances can be deceiving. Miya had a part-time job at the complex's leasing office, something that gave her a discount on rent and helped her keep things afloat. It was just a job. But one of her coworkers was watching her a little too closely. His name was Armando Caballero, 27 years old, a maintenance worker at Arden Villas. From the outside, he seemed harmless enough. Clean-cut, friendly with staff. But there were signs, quiet, uncomfortable signs, that he was obsessed with Miya. According to friends and family, Caballero had developed an unwanted fixation. He would flirt with her at work, offer her rides she didn't want, and linger around her apartment. Miya was polite, but firm she wasn't interested. She even told her family that he made her uncomfortable, and yet he kept showing up. There are reports that he asked her out multiple times. She always said no. In September 2021, things got weirder. Caballero reportedly started showing up to her building even when he wasn't on the clock. He had a master key fob, giving him access to every unit in the complex, including Miya's. She didn't know it yet, but that key was going to become a critical part of the case. Friday, the 24th of September, 2021. It was supposed to be a normal day. Miya had booked a flight to Fort Lauderdale to see her family. She was excited, ready for a short break, maybe a reset. She told Dad she'd call once she landed, but she never showed up at the airport. She never boarded her flight, and she never called. At first, her family thought maybe she'd missed the flight or lost her phone, but hours passed. Then the entire night, still no Miya. Her father, Marlon, began to worry. He knew his daughter. She wouldn't just disappear without telling some, especially not him. So he called the apartment complex, then the police. Then, he got in his car and drove straight to Orlando. When Miya's family arrived at Arden Villas later that night, they found her car in the parking lot. Her bedroom light was still on, Her purse and phone were inside. But Miya? Nowhere to be found. Something felt wrong immediately. Deeply wrong. They begged the Orange County Sheriff's Office to take the case seriously, to treat it like a possible abduction. Deputy Samir Polino arrived at the scene that evening for what should have been a routine welfare check. But instead of treating it as a potential crime scene, he treated it casually like a call about a missing adult who maybe just needed time away. Inside Mia's apartment, there were signs that should have raised alarms. Her room was in disarray. A blood stain on her pillow. Broken jewelry. Furniture pushed up against the bedroom doors, as if she had tried to block someone from entering. But none of that led to a crime scene designation. There was no search of the premises, no call for forensics, just a report and a shrug. The deputy didn't ask to search Caballero's car. He didn't collect potential evidence offered by a private security guard. He didn't even notify detectives that this could be foul play. And while Mia's family was screaming that something was wrong, the authorities didn't seem to be listening. Meanwhile, one person at Arden Villas was acting very, very strange. That night, while the family was outside frantically searching, Armando Caballero walked up and joined the scene. He didn't seem shocked. He didn't seem sad. He just hovered. He told Mia's relatives that he liked her, but she wasn't interested. He claimed they'd had a friendly relationship, but Mia's family immediately picked up on his energy and it wasn't right. There was tension. One of Mia's cousins got into a heated exchange with him. Caballero said he hadn't seen Mia that day. But then he slipped and admitted he had access to her apartment using his master key. Her family told the officers. They pointed directly at him. They said, "That's your guy. He's the one. Look into him." But again, nothing happened. Later, investigators would reveal that Caballero had used his master key to enter Mia's apartment around 4:30 p.m., just 30 minutes before she was last seen. That detail wouldn't come to light until much later. For the moment, Caballero was free to go. When someone you love goes missing, time slows down and speeds up all at once. For Mia's family, every minute felt like a lifetime. They didn't wait for law enforcement to take action. They hit the ground running. Her father, Marlon, immediately started organizing search parties. They printed flyers, knocked on doors, and combed the area surrounding Arden Villas. Volunteers showed up. Social media began buzzing. Hashtags like "Find Mia" started trending. But through it all, law enforcement still treated Mia's case like she was just another young adult who might have wandered off. The deputy who had entered her apartment the night before never filed a crime scene report. He never took evidence. He never treated it like something urgent. Meanwhile, Mia's family was growing more and more convinced that she had been taken and that Armando Caballero was the key to it all. So they did what the police didn't. They started looking into him. By Sunday, the 26th of September, Mia had been missing for 2 days. Word, no sightings. Her family was exhausted, but they weren't giving up. Then came the news. Armando Caballero was dead. He had been found in an apartment complex in Seminole County, roughly 50 miles away. It was an apparent suicide. He was discovered hanging inside a garage. Just like that, the man her family had pointed to, the man who had access to her apartment, who'd acted strangely, who'd admitted he had feelings for her, was gone. Authorities claimed he left behind no note, no explanation. But to Mia's family, this wasn't just a tragic twist, it was a confirmation. They believed Mia was dead. And they believed he had killed her. The problem? Without a confession, they still didn't know where she was. Now, with Caballero dead, attention should have shifted full force to finding Mia. But once again, her family felt the weight of inaction. They begged the Orange County Sheriff's Office to release surveillance footage. They asked about security logs, master key entries, anything that could show where Mia or Caballero had gone. Eventually, officials confirmed what her father had feared all along. Caballero's key fob had been used to enter Mia's apartment at 4:34 p.m. on the 24th of September. Mia was scheduled to finish her shift in the leasing office just minutes later. They also confirmed something else. Caballero had been obsessed with Mia. He'd expressed romantic interest multiple times, and each time she said no. This wasn't some mutual flirtation. It was unwanted, persistent, and disturbing. But even now, with all signs pointing toward foul play, police seemed slow to mobilize. Mia's family, especially her father, took matters into their own hands. He started tracking Caballero's digital footprint. He looked into his old addresses, his favorite spots, anywhere he could have taken Mia. And eventually, that search led them to Timberscan. The 2nd of October, 2021. 8 days after Mia vanished. It was a quiet morning when searchers found her. Her body was discovered in a wooded area near the Timberscan apartment complex, a location where Caballero had once lived. She was hidden beneath brush and vegetation, deep in a marshy area. Her hands and feet were bound. Her mouth had been taped shut. Her remains had started to decompose. The autopsy listed homicide by unspecified means due to the condition of her body. The horror was confirmed. Miya hadn't run away. She hadn't vanished on her own. She had been murdered and left to rot in the woods. Her family's worst nightmare had come true. And the public reaction? Explosive. The community erupted. Vigils were held. Candlelight ceremonies in Orlando and across Florida honored Miya's memory. Social media exploded with anger, grief, and one question. Why didn't the police act faster? So many things had gone wrong. The welfare check wasn't taken seriously. Obvious evidence was ignored. Caballero wasn't immediately investigated. Security footage and key fob records weren't reviewed until it was too late. Miya's family had pointed to the suspect from day one, and no one listened. To Miya's family, the message was clear. If Miya had been someone else, maybe things would have been different. And they weren't alone in that thinking. In the weeks that followed, protests erupted. Signs read, "Justice for Miya. Say her name. Do your job." Miya's family didn't just want answers, they wanted accountability. They filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Arden Villas apartment complex and the Price Company, arguing that Caballero never should have had unrestricted access to Miya's apartment. The lawsuit claimed there were no proper safeguards to protect residents. The complex eventually settled out of court for an undisclosed amount, but that wasn't the end. In 2023, Miya's family took their fight further. They filed a civil rights and negligence lawsuit against the Orange County Sheriff's Office and two deputies, specifically naming Deputy Samir Paulino and CPL Kenneth Dale. The suit claims both men had the evidence to save Miya, but failed to act. At the heart of the lawsuit is Deputy Samir Paulino, very first officer to respond to Miya's apartment for a welfare check on the 24th of September, 2021. He walked into Miya's apartment just hours after she vanished. What he found should have raised every red flag possible. There were signs of a struggle. Blood on a pillow. A bed pushed oddly against the door, as if someone tried to block entry. Broken jewelry scattered on the floor. A window suspiciously left open. And still, Paulino walked out without treating the apartment like a crime scene. He didn't call for backup. He didn't tape off the area. He didn't collect evidence. He didn't even take photos. He did report back to his supervisor, but, according to court documents, he left out all the details that mattered. The lawsuit alleges that Deputy Paulino's attitude from the start was dismissive. Like Miya's disappearance was just another college student staying out too late. But it wasn't. Her family knew something was wrong. And Deputy Paulino had enough evidence in plain sight to believe them. Yet the complaint states that he failed to inform anyone of the evidence of a potential crime he observed inside Miya's room. Not the blood. Not the broken jewelry. Not the forced entry signs. Nothing. The lawsuit claims Paulino had the power to escalate the situation to bring in investigators, secure the apartment, and track down Miya while she may still have been alive. But he didn't. And, according to the family's attorneys, the reason was chillingly simple. The case was not a priority. Then came most damning details in the lawsuit. On the day after Miya vanished, Paulino returned to Arden Villas and met with Jacoby Coleman, a security guard at the complex. Coleman had gone above and beyond. He had lifted fingerprints from the scene using torpedoing what deputies hadn't to Paulino. He tried to hand the evidence to Paulino. According to the lawsuit, Paulino smirked and told Coleman, "Keep the evidence in case it would be needed later." It was a chilling moment. Because by then, Miya had likely already been dead for days, her body discarded like trash in the woods, and the deputy who might have saved her, he'd smirked and walked away. But Paulino wasn't alone in the blame. His supervisor that night, CPL Kenneth Dale, was also named in the lawsuit. Paulino had allegedly briefed Dale over the phone about what he found, but once again, critical information was never passed along to investigators. Dale later testified that he was never told there was blood on the pillow. A bed was barricading the door. A bedroom window was open. Or that Caballero had a disturbing confrontation with Miya's family just hours earlier. Information that could have helped track Caballero immediately issue a warrant for his car or his phone. Instead, Dale finished his shift and went home. No urgency, no pressure, no follow-up. And in those missing hours, any hope of saving Miya vanished. The hardest pill for the family to swallow was this. There may have been a small window of time where Miya was still alive. A window where action could have saved her. A chance that her kidnapper hadn't yet killed her, that she could have been found in a nearby hiding place. But that window was missed. Because her disappearance was not taken seriously. Because no one treated the scene like it mattered. And because, according to the lawsuit, discrimination played a role. In what might be the most devastating allegation of all, the lawsuit accuses the Orange County Sheriff's Office of discrimination against missing women, especially young black and brown women. It claims that Mia's case was not treated with urgency because of who she was. If she had been white, if she had lived in a wealthier neighborhood, if she had had more influence or status, would her case have made headlines sooner? Would deputies have searched harder? Would Paulino have treated the scene like a crime rather than a casual welfare check? Her family thinks so. They say the sheriff's office failed her not just as officers, but as people. And they aren't just seeking damages. They want policy changes, training reform, accountability, and above all, they want Mia's death to mean something. News of the lawsuit against the Orange County Sheriff's Office hit the press like a lightning bolt. People were stunned not just by the horrifying details, but by the sheer carelessness of law enforcement's response. Across Florida and beyond, Miya Marcano's name became a symbol not just of a young life lost, but of a system that failed. There were protests, there were town halls, there were social media campaigns demanding accountability. Miya was no longer just a victim, she had become a movement. And her family? They weren't done fighting. In the wake of her death, Mia's family established the Miya Marcano Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to protecting young women and demanding safer housing laws. Their mission was clear: to support, protect, and empower young people to always be prepared, informed, and alert. The foundation didn't just want to raise awareness. They wanted to change the laws to make sure what happened to Miya never happened again. And just months after her death, they did exactly that. In 2022, Florida passed a bill that would forever carry Mia's name, Mia's Law. It was introduced in response to the loophole that allowed Armando Caballero, the maintenance man, to enter Mia's apartment using a master key. Under the new law, apartment employees must undergo national background checks. Access to units must be logged and more tightly controlled. Tenants must be notified ahead of time when maintenance will enter. Master keys must be securely stored and restricted. It was a powerful moment. The law had bipartisan support. And on the 27th of June, 2022, Governor Ron DeSantis signed Mia's Law into Florida legislation. The crowd wore purple, Mia's favorite color, and when her name was spoken on the Senate floor, her mother cried. But even with legislation passed and the foundation launched, one question still haunts every corner of this story: what if? What if Deputy Paulino had treated the scene like a crime scene? What if Corporal Dale had followed up sooner? What if someone had checked Caballero's car, phone, or alibi immediately? What if they hadn't smirked? What if they had cared? Would Miya still be alive? It's the kind of question that never goes away for grieving families. The lawsuit may eventually award damages, the laws may help protect others, but Miya is still gone. And her family is still waking up every morning to a home that's too quiet. Since Mia's death, her name has echoed through college campuses, housing boards, courtrooms, and the streets of Orlando. She became a face for women who vanish and are ignored, a voice for families who say no one listened, a spark for laws that never would have passed without heartbreak. And even now, years later, her story keeps going. Every time someone signs a lease in Florida and sees the new safety measures, every time a campus holds a seminar on housing rights, every time a mother texts her daughter to check in and says, "Stay alert, baby." That's Miya. She's there, watching, protecting, fighting through the people who loved her most. When the lawsuit against the Orange County Sheriff's Office finally made it to court, the Marcano family sat front and center. They didn't come for drama. They didn't come for revenge. They came for truth. They came to stare down the system that had failed them, to hear the excuses, to face the silence, and maybe, just maybe, to finally feel heard. Deputy Samir Paulino was called to testify. He answered questions with clipped responses, sticking to what was on the record. Yes, he responded to the welfare check. Yes, he entered Mia's apartment. Yes, he noticed things out of place, but no, he did not treat it as a crime scene. When asked why he didn't alert homicide or secure the scene, his answer was devastating. "I didn't think it was necessary at the time." That sentence hung in the air like a fog. Not necessary? Blood on the pillow, jewelry on the floor, furniture against the door, an open window, a missing girl. And he didn't think it was necessary? Mia's mother, Emma Scarbriel, took the stand. The courtroom fell silent when she spoke. No legal jargon, no grand speeches. Just a mother, telling the world what it's like to wake up to a nightmare you can't shake. She described the hours after Miya disappeared. She described the hours after Miya disappeared, how they called her phone over and over, how they begged the sheriff's office to search harder, how they knew something was wrong, and no one listened. Her voice cracked when she said, "We didn't just lose Miya, we lost trust in the people who were supposed to protect her." There wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom, because this wasn't about liability, this was about loss. By the time the testimony wrapped, the air in the room had shifted. The deputies didn't break down. They didn't show regret. They followed protocol. They did their job as far as the system was concerned. But the jury felt the truth. And in the end, the court ruled in favor of the Marcano family, citing negligence, failure to follow procedure, and a shocking lack of urgency in Miya's case. The judgment included a significant financial settlement, though the exact amount was sealed from the public. But here's what Miya's father said afterward. "No amount will ever bring our baby back. We didn't do this for money. We did this so the next Miya doesn't get ignored." Today, Miya's name lives far beyond headlines or hashtags. Her family continues to work through the Miya Marcano Foundation, pushing for stronger national laws, better tenant protections, and safer college housing. Each year on the 24th of September, friends and family gather at Arden Villas to remember her. They light candles. They wear purple. They share stories. They say her name out loud, over and over, so the world never forgets. And around the country, more young women are learning what Miya never got the chance to fully understand: that their safety is worth demanding, that their lives matter, every single one, and that silence can be deadly. Before she died, Miya Marcano was a regular 19-year-old girl. She loved fashion, she listened to reggae and soca, she dreamed of traveling the world and designing her own line of clothes. She had friends who adored her, a family that would have crossed oceans to protect her, and a future that stretched wide in front of her. All of that was taken in one night by a man who abused his access, and a system that didn't listen fast enough. So if you're watching this, don't let Miya's story end here. Tell someone where you're going. Fight for safer spaces. Believe women when they say something is wrong. And when you're in a position to speak up, do it. Because if Miya had been seen, if Miya had been heard, if Miya had been believed, she might still be here. This has been Mystery Unveiled. Thank you for honoring Miya Marcano's story with us.